Hey there, welcome to the channel again. This is Anthony. I'm just gonna have some coffee and talk. Hopefully informative one way or another. Change is inevitable. I wish I knew how to do some cool editing things. The world is changing every single day, from different presidents coming into power to different technologies swooping in and saving the day or changing the way we do things. And I hear a lot of people throughout some of my conversations of every day that I have with people, family and friends, coworkers, people I don't even like, who I just tolerate. But they all say a similar thing, that they're not welcoming this change, that they're not gonna conform, if you will. I think it's just such a funny way of thinking. I personally, in my own life, has had a lot of change happen. And if it wasn't for that change, I wouldn't be anywhere near the person that I was. I'd probably be dead in a ditch somewhere, and that's the God's honest truth. But I wanted to go over this because change is happening. Here are just a couple examples of what that means and why it's so important and applies directly to your life. One of them is the Elvis effect. When Elvis first became, he was something of a sinful character. He had this way about him, and his new way of dancing and the way he moved his hips was very alarming to those parents who just were not used to that. Perhaps were used to something much calmer and much more boring, but yet beautiful and well sung. Great. All of the parents did not let their children watch that, and it was a big deal, and he was Satan, and I'm sure there was a lot of conversations in the kitchen about how dare they do that and how dare they listen to Elvis, but he swooped the nation and grabbed everybody's hearts, and it was a great time. Now I was watching a presidential thing. I forget exactly what it was. Oh, my light died. That's awesome. Love when I don't come prepared. But anyway, now we have Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion type people, and there's male performers as well, but there's obviously more female performers that are a bit more provocative, and dancing very explicitly with very, very explicit and provoking lyrics that were being sung and danced for a president, for a whole nation to see, as if that was the way that we're going to be entertained now. And it's a new norm. Some people were shocked by it. Honestly, I was. I don't listen to that type of music, but everybody else seemed to enjoy it. Full-grown adults, older people, and younger people. What a change. What a weird thing. It's almost like it couldn't be stopped once it was started. Moving train? Don't know. The second idea of this was the horse and the car, right? Everybody back in the day, at one point or another, had a car. Had a horse. Nice. And once a car came into play, the very dumbed down version and short version of all of this was, well, people didn't like it. They didn't like the idea that you were going to have a vehicle. Well, a horse goes way faster than this car. And some businesses that based their entire business on horses were very much not supportive of this idea, because they were going to lose a lot of money. It was changing the entire industry, and it was a threat to them and a threat to other people, and people feared it and just did not want it. And I'm sure families even had conversations about it and what that was going to do to the world and how the world was changing, and possibly that it was going to destroy things ultimately. And now, funny enough, because humans adapt, they get over things, they make it work. Now, we're about to have cars that we can own by Tesla that can be in our driveway and be used to go pick up other people and make us money while it drives itself. I'd say that's quite the change, and for the better. Now there are people who can argue this thing and that thing about the benefits and the disadvantages of these changes, but inevitably, they're gonna happen anyway. And so why am I even talking about this, right? Well, the sole purpose is that things are changing. And AI, artificial intelligence, for those who are under a rock with Patrick, AI is changing everything. And there are other attributes as well. War is changing. We're going to use drones. We're changing the way we do cities. We're changing the way we do entertainment with YouTube and TikTok, and all of those news channels are not going to be very prevalent anytime soon, or at least in the way that you're used to digesting them or getting fed that information. A lot of the ways that they're doing it is changing. Why? Because change is inevitable. Something came in and made a difference in how people view this. Rather good or bad is kind of irrelevant, but it's easier to digest. It's much more entertaining. You have news sources that come from a guy like me who just does a lot of research. Well, not a guy like me, somebody who's doing a lot more research, and you got entertainment of people who are just living their lives, and showing you cute little kitties and trees or whatever it is. The entertainment industry is even changing. The way they do music is changing. The way they do movies is changing. And you have to change yourself, especially when it comes to artificial intelligence. That's going to be a part of everyday life. It's so important that everybody who watches this channel and any other channel don't miss the AI change. Don't fall behind just because you're unwilling or to learn about it and you're scared of this change. It's coming anyway, whether you want it to or you don't. So rather you're an entrepreneur and you want to excel greatly in anything that you do, AI is the way to go. Taking full workloads, helping you with the creative process, doing it faster, helping you with the logical way of thinking and figuring out certain things, helping you scroll through Google in a matter of seconds, where it would have taken you 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes to do. Helping you make lists, graphs. I mean, these tasks we don't need to do, where we can be doing other things like connecting with people and making money in the way that computers probably won't be able to for a very long time. Ride that wave. And for people who are just living their day-to-day life, if you have trouble with reminding yourself about things, there's an AI for that can remind you and help you every day. Well, that's called a calendar. Well, there's smart calendars. There's smart calendars and they're coming even faster. There's different kinds, different varieties that are on their way. And you have to jump on that train. You have to take advantage of it. And if you don't, you'll fall behind, because that 20-year-old that's very familiar with AI is going to run you over in your work area, especially if you work in any kind of office space. Business owners, the CEOs of these companies are going to see this workspace and they're going to take advantage of it, because guess what? An AI could essentially do the work of 100 people that are sitting at their desks eating a lollipop, talking to Sharon about how Jerry's wife cheated on him. AI don't do that. It just does work. It does what it's programmed to do. Take advantage of this change. Rather it's the change in the way we eat, if it's the change in the way we watch TV, if you're making content, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Just find the change and be okay with it, especially if it's really personal into your life. And on the most minute scale of this entire conversation, if it's hard, but you're not gonna die, do it anyway. That's where the change is. That's where things will change for the better. Nowhere in my life have I ever succeeded in something that was extremely easy for me. Only when it was harder. Only when it was a challenge did it bear fruit. And on the way, I adapted and learned my potential and reached out for the things that I couldn't do for other people to help me with. Like AI, like a car, etc. So don't be afraid of change. Embrace this change. It is inevitable. It is coming. You don't want to be left behind. My name is Anthony. If any of this touched you, not inappropriately, but gave you some information that maybe you didn't have or inspired you to think a different way, go ahead and subscribe, please, and follow. I would love to have more conversations just like these ones. Catch you in the next one.